Nice. GM, this is Moonlight, and super exciting to have of you joining us today because we are going to discover what exactly is THENA V33. And actually, before the session of here started, I was talking to Theseus, the CEO and co-founder at THENA, and what we are going to learn about, right? And I will also share screen with everyone because I want you all to visit THENA's official website so you won't miss more. And before we officially going to our intro, I'm going to drop. Here we go. Yes, I just dropped another round of crypto boxes over here. We have close to 4,000 live audience right now. Thank you so much, everyone. Be sure to share this Find link so more people can join us. And without further ado, let's sincerely welcome. This is the co-founder and CEO at THENA, giving a round of applause over here. And let me check. Well, Thesis or Adriana, would you like to introduce yourself and introducing the project to us? Thank you.
Sure, sounds good. Hi, everyone, and hi, Moonlight. Thanks for having me today. So I'm Theseus, or Adriano. I'm the co-founder and CEO at THENA. I've been working in DeFi for a bit more than 5 years now, I think. Started as a consultant, then built a yield optimizer, and I've been full-time and fully dedicated to THENA for the past 2 years and a half now. And so regarding THENA, essentially we're a decentralized trading hub and a liquidity layer that is built for protocols on the BNB chain. So we're BNB chain native. Since our inception, we processed more than $39 billion of volume and generated more than $39 million of revenue for our token holders since our inception in early 2023. So we currently have a spot DEX, and we also offer perps with up to 50x leverage and more than 150 crypto assets. And now, and this is the main reason I'm here today, we're in the process of migrating to our V33. So I'm very excited to tell you more about it and to also tell you more about our plans for the rest of 2025.
Wow, that is super exciting. Thank you so much, Adriana or Theseus, for the intro. And everyone, if you go to THENA.fi, THENA.fi, you're going to see that clearly on the very top, it says THENA V33 is launched. Voting begins on May 22nd, which is today. And THE, the token emissions, will migrate to new route on May 29th. So it's coming soon. And friends, be sure to go to the website and migrate now, join it. Well, THENA is the ultimate decentralized exchange. Let's get to learn more about this project and what's new beyond this migration. So our very first question over here is, what exactly is THENA V33 and why was this upgrade necessary right now? Thank you.
Yeah. So first, let me take a quick step back. So I think within DeFi, the DEX landscape is one of the most competitive, and it's also very fast moving, right? DeFi never sleeps. And the protocols that rely on a DEX for liquidity, they evolve very fast as well. But the thing is, as a DEX, your core code, it's immutable. From the moment you deploy it, it's set in stone. And what that means historically is that you're going to ship your version, watch the industry change very fast, and you're not going to be able to fulfill some of the needs from the protocols that want to launch their liquidity on your DEX. And so by the time your new upgrade arrives, the market's already changed and there are evolving needs that you cannot answer to. And so basically our V33, apologize, I had an issue. So yeah, I was saying basically our VE33 it completely solves this issue. So with our VE33, you have the main product logic that is immutable for safety purposes, but everything around it is fully customizable, and it's through a concept of what we call hooks. So to briefly touch on the hooks, you can see it as how would I say, a USB ports on the exchange. You can plug a smart contract module into a specific pool, and it can run some actions before, during, or after a swap, or any liquidity actions as well. So providing liquidity, withdrawing liquidity. And because this module, they live like outside of the core, you can now add features overnight. So you don't need to redeploy, you don't need migration headaches like what we're doing right now. This is over. We can now basically upgrade the logic on top of our decks as we see new needs and new functionalities that would be worth to be implemented. And so to be a little bit more concrete and give you some examples. So you have, for example, limit orders or swap hook that can turn your liquidity pool into somehow an on-chain order book. So it can now give a feeling for traders that is closer to a SEC style tool, centralized exchange, without ever leaving DeFi. You can have auto rebalancer hook, basically managing your liquidity for you based on your predefined conditions. So you're way more flexible with your liquidity strategy. You can also have a pre-sale hook for protocol. They can fully customize their pre-sale directly for our decks. Just so many different kind of application, even fully fledged application that you would see as a standalone DApp, like for example, margin trading could be plugged directly through a hook. And so on top of that, on THENA with our V2, if you wanted to earn THE emissions, you needed to go through what we call an ALM. It's an automated liquidity manager. It basically completely abstracts the liquidity management side of things. It handles everything for you, which is a great fit for newcomers and retail who doesn't want to manage their own liquidity. But it's also a bit of a problem for those more experienced traders and liquidity providers that would like to have their customized liquidity strategy and handle their liquidity themselves. And so with our V33, now the manual concentrated liquidity position, they can earn THE as well. And so that opens the door to many more LPs that we couldn't get before. And also, I would say an overall increased capital efficiency as we attract more traders that can tailor their own strategy. And on top of that, of course, we have many other upgrades. So we introduced other AMMs, notably the weighted multi-asset pools that some people might have seen on Balancer. So from now on, you will be able to launch a pool, for example, with 6 different assets or 3 different assets, and also choose the weights that you want for each of those assets. So for example, we're introducing a THE BNB pool, which will request 80% of THE and 20% of BNB. And I know a lot of our token holders will be happy because, and I will go through this a bit later, but on THENA, if you want to unlock all the utility of our token, you need to lock it and transform it into what we call VETHE, which is an NFT with your locked tokens. And for those who don't want to have longer term locking commitments, they will be able to provide liquidity in this new pool, 80/20. And it's kind of like akin to single staking, right? Because the global exposure that you have in the pool is towards THE and it's fully liquid, and you can earn THE emissions on top and generate fees for the pool. On top of that, we have cross-chain capabilities now, and I will also get into more details later on, but it's not really our focus at the moment. We would rather gain more market shares on BNB before expanding, but we do have the capability now. And we also introduced a lot of UX improvements. So before you had a 1 week delay to claim your rewards from your VETHE, it's not the case anymore. We added a lot of automations for people that don't want to be hands-on every week for voting, claiming rewards, compounding. Same for protocols. We have a lot of automation so that they don't have the hassle of performing actions every week. And also we have a brand new UI, a fresh dashboards with a lot more analytics for LPs and an improved user experience for liquidity providers as well.
Wow, that's amazing and lot of updates, right? It's definitely a full-on transformation, not just a simple tweak, right? So friends, be sure to go to THENA.fi and then check it out. For example, click on migrate now, right? Do it now. And then just like Adriana or Thesis says, that you could create your VETHE and you might also earn some rewards over here by VTHE voters. This is just awesome. You could also mint your ID, etc. Just connect your wallet. And there are a lot of things that you could do over here at the THENA page over here on the dashboard. So friends, don't miss this opportunity. You can also claim your voting incentives and rebates. Awesome. Thank you so much, Thesis, for letting us know a lot of updates over here. The next discussion topic we would like to talk about is THENA V33 puts a big emphasis on real yield, right? Just like our title says. Can you break down where its yield actually come from and how it's distributed to our users? Thank you.
Sure, but this is the part where I get into more details about VTHE. So initially, when a DEX structure their tokenomics, they will need to make a decision regarding the revenue distribution, because you need to obviously reward liquidity providers for the risk they take. And if you release a token, you also, in my opinion, need to redirect some revenue to it and not make it just a utility token. And so some, like Uniswap, they don't reward their token holders at all, and they redistribute everything to LPs. And others, they give a small percentage of the revenue to their token holders through a staking mechanism. And on top of that, they use some token emissions to incentivize LPs and compete with other DEXs. And I would say for DEXs outside of Uniswap, the liquidity mining aspect is an essential tool, especially when you want to bootstrap initially the liquidity of your protocol. And going from this fact, the VE53 model that we use at THENA, it goes a step further. So if as a DEX, you're going to use your token partially to incentivize liquidity, and your token is basically a valuation of a multiple of the revenue that you generate, then if you want to get as much liquidity as possible to increase your bottom line, then the best scenario is to redistribute all that revenue to token holders, and you use emissions to distribute it as rewards to liquidity providers. And essentially, this is what we're doing on THENA. 100% of the revenue that is generated from the liquidity pools is redistributed to VTHE holders. And so to get VTHE, you need to lock your token. It goes from 2 weeks up to 2 years. And the longer you lock it for, the higher your voting power. And so what's the purpose of this voting power? It's that each week, the VTHE holders are going to allocate their votes towards liquidity pools. So for example, you could vote entirely for BNB USDT, let's say. And in return, you're going to earn a corresponding share of the trading fees plus what we call voting incentives. And so voting incentives, they're a way for protocol to get more emission towards their liquidity. It's a way to solve what we call the cold start liquidity bootstrapping problem. And I'll get to that a bit later on, I think. But so essentially you get a token where you get a commitment and you need to lock it, which is good as well for the expansion of the DEX, because you're emitting token, inflating it, especially in its earliest state. And in return, you get all the real yields that the protocol is generating. And so in the end, you end up with a system that properly rewards liquidity providers for the risk they take, and also massively rewards token holders for getting a lock-in commitment and putting their token to work with us. And so this is how THENA works, essentially. We never touched the model since we launched it. And with VE53, it will work exactly the same way with even more features on top.
Wow, that is just really nice. And thank you so much, Thesis, for providing very transparent information to us, right? And I have to say that unlike a lot of other empty token incentive, THENA's real yield definitely comes from actual trading fees and protocol usage. So friends, once again, shout out to the team. Lee's prototype has been built for about 2 cycles, right? Because I remember it has been huge since the last bull cycle. So thank you so much, Thesis, for explaining the detailed information to us. And following that, I know that one of the V33's key goals, right, is to improve capital efficiency. So, what specific changes have the team made to liquidity mechanics, and how do they benefit traders and protocols alike? And this is a question for our CEO and co-founder at THENA. Thank you.
Sure. So we capital efficiency in DeFi is kind of like the buzzword everyone uses, and some people don't really understand what it means, because it means different things depending on which stakeholder you are. And so from our standpoint, um, we have three stakeholders. So the first one, we have liquidity providers, and capital efficiency for them mean having the highest return as possible per dollar of liquidity that they put in, right? For traders, it's about getting the best price execution as possible when you're trying to swap an asset for another. And for protocol, and it's those who deposit voting incentives that want to scale their liquidity. They want to do it as cheaply as possible, right? And so with our DE33, we tackled all those issues and improved on them. So the first thing is we've introduced the ability to initialize custom tick spacing on a pool basis. So what that means is for stable coins or highly correlated pair, like let's say USDT, USDC, or I don't know, YNBNB, BNB, assets that either follow each other or are tightly pegged to each other, we can use very, very tight tick, which means the liquidity will be more concentrated around the current price. It gives better price execution for traders, and that means we capture also more volume, which means more money for liquidity providers. And then for more volatile pairs, we can keep a wider spacing. And this gives us some precision that wasn't possible before, and that will enable better trade execution and increase capital efficiency for liquidity providers. Now, on top of that, along with the VE53 release, we've launched our dynamic fee hook. And so basically it optimizes the fees on a pool based on the volatility and the characteristic of the underlying assets, and with real trading time activity. So instead of using a one-size-fits-all fee model, stable pairs, they might charge a very, very low fee, like 1 basis point, while some volatile pairs will have a high fee, especially during very volatile environment, to compensate them more for the volatility they experience. And so overall, it's a better trading experience and also better returns for LPs. Now, on top of that, we also made some gas optimization through the new concentrated liquidity AMM offered by Algebra. And one thing I'm specifically excited about is the limit order hooks. So even when you are on Binance, for example, and you want to do a limit order, you're going to pay a fee that is smaller as if you were a taker, but still you're going to pay a fee. On THENA, it's possible to do it through liquidity providing. Essentially, you're going to put your asset at a specific price at which you want to sell. And instead of paying a fee, you're actually going to earn a share of the fees generated by your order. And on top of that, going even a step further and showing how DeFi is actually amazing, it's that, let's say you want to buy BNB. You say, I want to buy BNB at $650 because you think it's going to get back there. You're going to put the limit order. And while it's in there and it's BNB is not at this price, it's going to be staked on Venus and it's going to be able to earn yields. So you never have idle assets. While it's there, you earn the yields. And once it goes to $650, it will buy the BNB for you. You will earn the trading fees and you will end up with more money than before and the BNB you wanted at the desired price. And this is, for me, a perfect example of why DeFi is awesome. It's like the composability of it. You can basically, instead of having USD dollars in your bank account, you can always have productive assets for it. And this is amazing, in my opinion.
Totally agree. Thank you so much. Well, this is where things get spicy, right? Because everyone wants more yields and less waste. And well, this is you also mentioned hook, right? Like dynamic fee hook and limited order hooks. So that introduces us to the concept of hooks. Could you please give us more direct applications for Athena? Like how do you intend to leverage them to offer a better DEX for our users? Thank you.
Sure, but yeah, I guess it's pretty obvious from my side, but it's hooks to me is the most exciting parts of our VE33. because they completely change what our DEX can offer over the long run. So I already went a bit into like how a hook work and plugs into our EMM. But to give you some concrete example, we've been working on permission pools. So we'll be able to create KYC, KYB gated liquidity pools. So it will enable us over time to deploy tokenized securities and regulated assets in the future. And so if we see a world with massive adoption for real world assets, then this is a key milestone for DEX to enable that. So we're pretty excited about that. Then you can also have fundraising mechanisms. So projects will be able to conduct their pre-sale, their IDOs, everything directly through the AMM. They can build customized access controls, for example, only whitelisted assets or only specific token holders with a minimum amount can participate. They can take any forms. It can have a fixed price, a tiered rounds with minimum and max caps. It could be a Dutch auctions, anything you can imagine. You can put it on top of our AMM and run it directly through THENA, and then launch your liquidity right after directly on THENA, which is pretty cool. Then what else do we have? So you have yield on idle liquidity. I touched on it with the limit orders, but through hooks, you can basically route the idle liquidity that you have in an LP into protocols like Venus, for example, or liquid staking platforms. And essentially, LPs can earn additional yield even when their range isn't active, making it even more capital efficient once again. And then on top of that, I could spend hours giving you examples, because you can have entire financial applications on top of it. So, for example, on-chain margin trading, customized vol strategies like hedged delta neutral strategies, all powered by hooks. They now builders they can use THENA as a foundation, and they can extend it in ways that we couldn't do before. And so we're going from just one team working on a DEX, on a platform, to potentially collaborating with many other builders that can directly tap into our core infrastructure and our user base to offer their own financial application. And I'm pretty sure we're going to see some very exciting applications and innovations in the near futures.
Wow. So which means that more people, more developers could build together, right, and build smarter. That is just awesome. Friends, if you are listening over here as an audience on Binance Live session and you wanted to build together, be sure to follow THENA on X. It's very easy to find them. ThenaFi, THENAFI underscore, or search THENA, and then you are going to see this very eye-catching pink and white logo over here. And I see that right now we have reached 6,000 live audience. Our session has also been featured on the front page of Binance Live. Thank you so much, everyone, for supporting. And I also wanted to once again emphasize that today we are focusing on V33, THENA's V33. They just posted an announcement yesterday on X, and today we are diving deep into every aspect of it. And this is just share about hooks. Next, we are going to talk about VETHE. Previously, we also saw it right on our dashboard over here on THENA's website. Over here, you can create your VETHE over here. So we're going to ask this question to Thesis, a co-founder and CEO at THENA. So VETHE has always been core, right? A core asset to THENA's model. What changes does V33 bring to VTHE holders in terms of governance power or revenue share? Thank you.
Sure. Just as a quick side note before I get started with the question, what you see currently on the UI that is earned by VTHE voters, it's because we just deployed the new version, and so the $1.81 that you see, actually it was $250,000 last week. This number is because we just migrated, and there is no liquidity yet in the new migration. So you will see the true numbers in about 2 weeks. We've been doing 250,000 last week, for example, which would be more accurate. Just wanted to drop that. But to go back to your questions, to go back to your question. So yeah, I already went a bit through our tokenomics overall into VTHE. And so with V33, essentially it will be the same. It will still capture all the protocol fees, the voting incentives, But with V33, we're introducing even more new layers of utility and convenience, I would say, for VTHE holders. So first, we're introducing a fee rebate hook, where basically VTHE holders, they'll get a discount on trading fees based on how much VTHE they hold. So it gives them access to cheaper liquidity across our platform and all our liquidity pools. On top of that, we're also integrating VTHE deeper into our broader product suites that we're working on. So, for example, in the near future, VTHE holders, they will get early or exclusive access to our launch pads, giving them priority participation and also another potential revenue stream. And in terms of like quality of life upgrades, we with our V33, we made VTHE truly set and forget. So now we have automations powered by Chainlink. So they can automate their weekly voting, yield claims, rebase collections, everything. So even passive holders, they can now maximize their rewards without having to come back every week and or click through the UI. They can have their own auto compounding strategy as well. So yeah, it's really about quality of life on that side. But overall, the fundamentals of the ETHE, they stay the same. You vote, you earn, and you guide emissions for the protocol, participating in its success. But with V33, we make it even more rewarding, powerful, and a lot more convenient.
Nice. Well, more powerful and more convenient, right, for our users. So, friends, be sure to check it out because you definitely don't want to miss. And until then, there are some rewards, right, and incentives for you to grab. So, definitely come to check THENA. And I also wanted to shout out to the THENA team because a lot of projects post TGE are kind of like super quiet, right? Kind of despairing. However, we could clearly see that the THENA team still contribute and update their products. This is definitely super amazing. Thank you so much, Thesis, for letting us know the details regarding VETHE. And what is the strategy behind staying native to BNB chain? Has this helped THENA become the go-to DEX for ecosystem projects? Thank you.
Yeah, it's a good question actually because it's one that I often get when I get on calls with protocols that are looking to port on BNB and or that have cross chain strategies. They always ask us, um, "Are you cross chain? Do you intend to move to other chain?" And I always answer the same thing. And yeah, so the DEX landscape, as I said, it's super competitive. And you're not only competing with other protocols on your own chain, you're also competing across all the chains available, where every new L1 or L2, they're launching their own incentive programs on top and their own liquidity bootstrapping program. And you have a lot of mercenary liquidity on top. But most DEXs, even the successful one, they, as I said before, they rely on token emissions to attract LPs. And converting an LP into a loyal users, it takes time, in my opinion. And if you spread yourself too thin across multiple chains without deep roots in any of them, you end up with fragmented and inefficient liquidity that will eventually leave. And so it's by wanting to fight every battles, you end up losing the war. And this is exactly, for example, what we saw with some dexes. So if everyone remembers Sushi Swap, they did a huge cross-chain expansion and ended up losing everywhere and losing relevance at the same time. So this is a mistake that we do not want to repeat. We want to stay native to BNB chain. It's one of the most active and liquid ecosystem in crypto. It has a deep DeFi user base, a very strong retail presence, and it has also growing institutional traction, right? So even now, when you look at it, our market share on BNB is very far from our ceiling or our potential. And there is huge opportunity to consolidate on this chain before even thinking about expanding elsewhere. And also by staying focused on the BNB chain ecosystem, we're able to build much stronger connections with the ecosystem and even are able to support way more the protocols that are looking to expand on BNB chain and have a tailored go-to-market strategy. Because at THENA, I would say one of the advantage of working with us is that we're very hands-on when it comes to listing, which is the case for also a lot of centralized exchanges. We support protocols beyond just listing on THENA and giving emissions. We help them with connections. We help them with their go-to-market, marketing where we can. So yeah, it's about supporting them for a successful go-to-market on BNB chain.
Wow, totally agree with you, right? So, to stay over here on BNB Chain, loyalty is paying off, right? As this is pointed out, right? Stay native allows THENA to stay agile and build deeper partner relationships with other ecosystem projects over BNB Chain. Thank you so much for letting us know about the decision because, well, just like you say, right? A lot of people must have been asking you the question over and over. Yeah, are you going to cross gen, multi gen, etc. But stay over here on one chain actually beneficial to THENA as well. And next, we would like to ask you, like you have onboarded dozens of partners, right? How does V33 make it easier for protocols to launch or to incentivize liquidity and build with THENA? Thank you.
Yeah. So since our inception, even with the VFP model, THENA was originally designed to solve what is, in my opinion, one of the biggest pain point for emerging protocols. It's how to bootstrap deep liquidity on chain without requiring massive upfront capital, because renting liquidity is very expensive. And so the way the VFP model addressed this challenge is when a protocol launch a new token and he wants to attract liquidity, he cannot rely on the trading fees it will generate because the protocol is rather new. The token doesn't get enough adoption right from the start, which is the case the majority of time. And so they have to have their own liquidity program, which costs them a lot over time. And so with THENA, they don't directly need to emit their own token towards a liquidity pool or set complicated farming programs. They can directly deposit voting incentives, or what we call bribes, to VTHE holders who are going to vote to direct THE emissions to their pool. And it's a very flexible and market-driven model that lets protocols scale their liquidity over time based on their actual needs. And the beauty of it, in my opinion, it's that it's very dynamic. When a protocol is early and needs to attract liquidity, they can invest more into voter incentives. But as the trading volume is going to grow over time and the token gets more adoption, the trading fees alone, they will become more and more enough to attract the required votes. Meaning over time, they can reduce their spending toward liquidity renting until the point where it reach a point of self sustainability, where the fees alone are enough to incentivize liquidity providers for the risk they take. And so if your token gets more adoption over time and grows over time, you will not be renting liquidity forever. And so now with V33, we go even a step further, but by offering more tooling. So as I said, they will be able to run their pre-sale directly for AMM. They can completely customize the liquidity experience, whether it's through dynamic fees, custom rebalancing strategies, loyalty programs for their LPs, or even tailored reward system on top to incentivize specific behavior. On top of that, we can offer some tailored liquidity management solution that we offer through our partners, making it seamless for retail to get started with liquidity providing without the required knowledge. So yeah, overall, VF3 gives just a scalable and cost-efficient way to launch the liquidity, grow it, and then transition to a sustainable model.
Nice. Yes, sustainable is definitely super important, right, for a project's long-term development. Thank you so much, Thesis, for letting us know about that. And of course, we would like to also talk about the next important question over here. From the looks of it, the release of V33 will accelerate innovation on the THENA platform, right? And could you please give us more details about the roadmap? What's next for THENA in 2025? Thank you.
Sure. So it's funny because usually when a protocol release a new version, the new version that you can see represents all the innovation that it brought forward. But with the 3 it's actually the opposite. It kind of marks the beginning of a brand new innovation phase for THENA. So we don't see ourselves only as a DEX now with hooks. We become a base layer for DeFi experimentation, in my opinion. So over the next months, what we are looking for is to collaborate with individuals, with protocols, to launch innovative and hook-powered features. So some of them will just extend the AMM logic, like the dynamic fees, auto-rebalancing strategies, and other will go much further and introduce new financial applications in a way. So fundraising primitives, margin system, intent-based order flow through hooks. So yeah, that's the beauty of it. It's that it makes our decks fully composable and it enable innovations outside of the team's work. And so beyond the core product, we actually, I would think it was a month and a half ago, we posted a Medium article about a proposal for strategic collaboration with Venus, Infinio, and Singularity. And for us, this is going to be a major step forward in the BNB chain ecosystem. So our goal is to combine the best of trading, lending, banking, and AI-driven insights under one unified experience. So what we want to do is first to seamlessly connect DeFi and real-world finance. This is what Infinio is doing through their banking app. So you'll be able to trade directly on THENA, borrow land through Venus, even have complex strategies between both of them, access fiat and TradeFi products through Infinio, and you will even be able to interact with tokenized real-world assets. And by the way, soon we're launching a new protocol is launching basically tokenized shares of SpaceX, which is a private company, which is going to be available on THENA, and is a pretty interesting opportunity. So this is the kind of use cases that we're looking to build with the protocols we partnered with, and all within a single integrated stack. So it's ambitious and it's a long-term roadmap, but this is going to be our big focus for 2025. And on top of that, we're also working in parallel on Arena V2. So you can already find V1 on THENA. Essentially, Arena is a permissionless trading competition engine where anybody can launch a trading competition on our spot market, but also on our perps. At the moment, it's P&L based. It's fully customizable, the duration, the rewards, the ranking, and with our V2, we're introducing as well a volume-based trading competition, which in my opinion is perfect for meme coins fresh off launchpads, Binance Alpha tokens, or any projects that is looking to onboard active traders and drive more liquidity. If we see, like, for example, platforms like Pump.fun or 4.meme on BNB Chain, which is the biggest one, the issue is that the tokens that gets out of the bonding curve, I don't remember the exact stats, but I think it's like more than 95% dies within the first week after the bonding curve. And I think there is a way to improve the flow of graduation of those meme coin and help them grow and grow the community at the same time. And it's all about trading activity at the end of the day. And so having these direct connections with launchpads where post graduation on their bonding curve, they can now offer trading competitions with big rewards for their early holders as well, is a good way to gamify the experience while maintaining momentum and basically drive more adoption towards the coin itself. So I'm pretty excited about that as well. It will also come with some other social activities on top. And so it should be released within the next 2 months. Right now, the audit is about to start very soon. So yeah, overall, we have hooks that are laying the foundation of THENA, and we have the Super App initiative that is going to be our big focus in 2025 in bridging the gap between DeFi, TradeFi, and AI, and Arena for the gamified experience on top. So we have the main vertical, the DEX, which is about trading and liquidity providing. And then we're applying a similar strategy to what you saw with Binance, for example, which is about reinforcing the tooling, the features that traders and users want to see. So this launchpad product, this earn product, which makes it very easy for users to get deeply involved in DeFi over time.
Which is really nice. Thank you so much for letting us know a lot more details regarding the upcoming events in 2025, right? And everyone, just like I said, THENA is a project that continue to build post TGE, and this is definitely not really common, right? Especially they are super strong. So be sure to keep following on then. And before we wrap up the session, well, we know for someone new to DeFi or switching from another DEX, right? What is the easiest way to start using THENA and earning yield today? Please, would you like to guide us on this? Thank you.
Sure. I would recommend anyone to go on our website on the pool section, and you will immediately be able to see all the yield opportunities with the assets that the user is looking to provide. You can also customize your own pool as well through the pool section and see the yields that you could be earning. And right now, just today, we just announced a USD1 USDT pool. So USD1, for those who don't know, is a stable coin that has been receiving massive traction on BNB chain that recently listed on Binance as well. We're seeing activity ramping up. And so for new users that don't want to have the complexity of volatile assets, they can provide liquidity for USD1 and USDT. They can use our Zapper so that they only need one asset to deposit in the liquidity pool, and the yield is currently very high for stable coins.
That is really nice. So, friends, be sure to check it out because you really, really don't want to miss it. And even if you are new, right, it's also very easy to get started. And new to THENA, you're definitely in luck, especially V33 makes onboarding smoother than ever, just like Theus has been pointing out, right? And you can manually provide liquidity, stake to earn real yield, and even vote for emissions if you hold the VETHE. And just a reminder, friends, well, the voting for a new pool actually started today, and the new emission go live on May 29. So migrate your liquidity before then and to earn more. Now we have come to a conclusion, right? And we wanted to double check with Theseus before we end this session. Do you have any additional information that you wanted to share with our Binance Live audience? Thank you.
Sorry, I cut for a second. Could you repeat?
Yeah, we just want to check before we wrap up the session. Do you want to share any additional information to our Binance Live audience? Because right now we have close to 8,000 live audience. Thank you.
Oh, but first, thanks everyone for tuning in. So at THENA, I think it's a very beautiful story in DeFi. We started, we were a very small team. We didn't do any VC raise. We did one of the biggest airdrop of 2023, airdropping to holders from 20 different protocols. We redistribute all the revenue to token holders, which is, in my opinion, how DeFi should be done: more ethical, more decentralized. And we've been here for 2 years and a half, and with what you just heard and our V50 release, it just marks a new beginning for us. THENA is not where we want it to be, but we're working towards it. And you can be sure that in 2025, you will see THENA gaining market share in the DEX space. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop on our Discord. We have an amazing community that is always looking to help, as well as amazing mods. And I look forward to seeing some of you on our socials and testing our products. And we're also very keen on hearing feedback as well. This is how we continuously improve the product. So thanks again, everyone, for tuning in, and I'll see you soon.
Nice. Thank you so much, Theus, for spending your precious time with us and for breaking down everything about THENA V33. We cover all of the details from modular design and hooks to real yield as well as governance change. It's really, really clear that this is not just another simple upgrade. It's a whole new chapter for DeFi on BNB chain. So friends, once again, be sure to give THENA a follow and then migrate the liquidity pool to V33. It's really, really important. And the voting for a new pool opens today. Also, new THE mission goes live on May 29. Make sure you migrate because you're liquidity by then to keep earning rewards. And if you found this MA insightful, be sure to share, comment, and dive into V33 by yourself. You need to give it a try. And once again, thanks for being part of the THENA journey. We're seeing you on chain. Check it out at THENA.fi, THENA.fi. Once again, thank you, Theseus. Feel free to leave our backstage and continue your day or take a break. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you, Moonlight. And thanks for hosting.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Thank you. And friends, I am going to once again share the THENA website over here, the dashboard, because I really, really, really don't want anyone to miss it. Okay, this is really important. And you are going to see the reward pool update after 2 weeks. Okay, because it just started to migrate it today. So, and I also wanted to let everyone know that a project team that's been building post TGE for 2 cycles is definitely something that you can miss, right? And it's a team that you could trust. Thank you so much for watching today's MA session regarding THENA V33 Unleash Real Use, Real Speed, and Real Value. I'm going to play some light music over here, and then later we will let everyone watch a replay in case you miss anything important. Okay, so stay tuned because there are more to come. Now, I'm going to also post THENA's official website link over here so that you could easily find it. That's THENA.fi. Let me put these. Here we go. The banner, adding it. Yes, THENA.fi. Don't miss it. Let's go. THENA.fi.